assigned a senior diplomat, former ambassador, to work with us in Timor-Leste as our advisor on membership accession. So we will be, and yesterday I was very pleased that Prime Minister Hun Sen and this morning the Foreign Minister reassured me very categorically that Cambodia also very strongly support Timor-Leste membership. In our own target, which we imposed on ourselves in Timor-Leste to force us to work harder, to build our institutions, improve our economy, we set a target of 2012 to join ASEAN. Indonesia will take over the presidency of ASEAN in 2011 and 2012 Cambodia. It will be great that it will be Indonesia and Cambodia that will share the process of our formal membership. But if it doesn't happen in 2012, we also wouldn't be too impatient. We would understand the agenda of ASEAN. Yes, I do believe that ASEAN Secretariat in particular, but then civil society in each ASEAN country can contribute much more through initiatives like this to address some of the conflict still existing in within each country and in some tensions between neighboring countries. Because for ASEAN to acquire an even stronger voice internationally, it has to be a solid organization, and to be proactive, it has to address the challenges that we face internally. And that's why we also, in Timor-Leste, we are very pragmatic, realistic, and we say, I said only a week or 2 weeks ago in a meeting with cabinet members, with our Council of State, an advisory body to the President, and I said, in relation to membership in ASEAN, with problems existing in ASEAN, would they want another member, Timor-Leste, if we do not continue to consolidate peace and economically? Of course, if I were an ASEAN leader, I would say politely, maybe the East Timorese should wait a bit longer. So I challenge our people, we must consolidate peace, make it a lasting, permanent status of Timor, continue to perform economically if we want to be fully integrated in ASEAN. So we challenge ourselves, because ASEAN has enough problems of winning its borders, some of the member countries. And it would be unfair for us to impose ourselves in circumstances that would not be terribly good for ASEAN. Some of the problems exist in ASEAN countries, particularly in the Philippines, in the south, decades old, and southern Thailand. And some of these problems, I believe that only with a lot of steady engagement, patience, can be resolved. And sometimes some of us are afraid of, or because we are too proud, we do not want international assistance, like international mediation. Well, in my own country in 2006, I was only foreign minister at the time, but had a meeting with my colleagues when the problems happened in the country, within the army, the police, and some people are very proud. We should not ask international assistance. And, but I said, our first responsibility is not to our own pride. Our first responsibility is to ensure safety, security of the people. Can we deliver that on our own? I ask the question. If we don't, then let us help from friends. And I am a patriot like anybody else on earth. But for me, sometimes I find silly some of the debate, discussions, outbursts of nationalism, rejecting international mediation or rejecting a UN presence. I have no difficulties with it. I have no problem seeing Australian troops, New Zealand troops, or UN police driving around the city. They are, the UN police, they are the worst drivers in the world. More than once, I almost had a clash with a UN car coming opposite direction, but that's the worst you can say. So the problem sometimes is that when within our own countries, difficult to find people who are not involved one way or another in the conflicts. Difficult to find someone who is completely neutral. Particularly, the smaller the community, the more difficult to find neutral people. So it's not bad to have sometimes a Norwegian, a harmless Norwegian come in and help, or a harmless Finnish. The Indonesians, among the proudest people in Asia, and a few years ago you couldn't talk about Aceh to the Indonesians. You would have an immediate emotional reaction. But then, through the mediation, first, very, very discreet work of a Geneva-based group called Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, and then later came Martti Ahtisaari, President of Finland. They resolved the problem of Aceh. So some of the problems is good to have international mediation. Sometimes discreet, sometimes unnecessarily more visible.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. From Faculty of Education, majoring in English, TESOL. My name is Murat, a senior student of this university. Well, it's a profound pleasure that I have joined this special event. It's a great pleasure for me to join this peace conference. You know, as I have seen the many revolutions and conflicts throughout history, well, the problem is happened when the gaps of the rich and the poor grows stronger. So to me, so how could you suggest me to do, and all the people in the world to do, and to bring the gap between the rich and the poor closer in order to make peace of the world? Thank you very much.
Before I answer that, I just want to complete my thought on the previous issue. Often the reluctance of the state to deal with minority problems is proportional, corresponding to the level of development of the institutions, culture of democracy in that country. The more self-confident a country is about its viability, its existence, the more it is open to compromise on this. Look at, well, the United States is an extreme example. How many languages people speak in New York alone? Take aside the UN, people who live in Manhattan, more than 100 languages. Spanish is not yet an official language in the United States, but even